Romans 12 and 2 simply says, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. So in order for your change to come, you have to change your way of thinking.
All right, welcome back to Be the Ram Live. This is webinar number 8. Your guy, Anthony McKissick Sr., Reverend Run the Shoot. I have a special guest, Kevin Graves, coming all the way from, where you at, Kevin?
I'm in Shin Jin China, right on the border of China and Hong Kong.
Now, Shin Jin China, even though he said the border of Hong Kong and where now?
In China.
In China, I still wouldn't be able to, point it out on the map. I've never left the United States, and the reason we have you on here today is just I feel like your testimony can, reach a lot of people as far as athletes and guys that's played basketball, guys and girls. Everybody has these big dreams and things like that, and I just think what you have to say and just your story may reach out and help a lot of people. So if you could just start off and tell us who you are, how life was growing up for you and what basketball means to you.
I'm Kevin Graves. Kevin Graves from Dallas, Texas. I've been playing basketball since can't even remember, little kid. Probably had a ball in my hand when I was 5. My grandparents raised me. Pretty much. That's all I did was play basketball every day. It means everything to me to be playing basketball at 37 still. It's going to be 38 November, so still going strong.
So what was your first experience, with organized basketball?
My first experience of really getting a chance to play, actually, I'd say that I got cut in the 8th grade, and I knew I was better than all those players, but not all the players, but I was better than pretty much most of them. But being that the school that I went to, you had to have 7th graders on the team with the 8th graders. They only take so many 8th graders, and then certain parents put money into the schools, so they're going to take some of those kids just because of the parents. And I remember getting cut, but I also remember I used to play basketball every day. I played with the best guys, and I remember I used to hold my own against everybody, and a lot of those guys that made the team, I remember dominating them, but it still felt like I got cut, like I wasn't good enough. That was my mind frame, and it just made me work harder.
So you took the getting cut as, although you felt like you weren't good enough, it made you work hard. It didn't make you quit.
Oh, no, I never quit because I love basketball too much to quit. I knew I was good enough inside of me because I played with players that were, that were really good. And I knew some of those players on the team wasn't as good as me, but, they made it for other reasons. But it still made me feel a certain way. Like I knew I was good enough to play. And then when I got to high school, my freshman year, I never even touched the floor. And like I said, most of those players were on that team too. But it's just the schools that I was going to, a lot of the parents, if you put money into the school, sometimes their kids are going to make the team. And that's just the way it is. But sophomore year, I guess I got too good for that, and I just started getting better than everybody.
So
grew each year from that.
So were you one of the guys that were like a AAU All-American type players like that when you were in high school and middle school?
No, I was first team everything though, but I didn't, All American. I don't think our coaches really, sometimes they didn't even put our stats in the paper and stuff like that. So it took a while before people really started to realize how good I was because of the teams that were before me my freshman and sophomore year. I didn't play varsity my sophomore year. I got moved up at the end, but those guys didn't make the playoffs. They made the playoffs that freshman year. My sophomore, no. My junior year, I made the team starting, and we didn't make the playoffs. But I was a junior. You have seniors.
Yeah.
Goes back to those seniors. Sometimes they're going to play through the seniors because they're older. Anybody can see if you would have played through me and, Damien and my other friend. If they'd have played through the players that they should have been playing through, we would have been a lot better. But, they went through the seniors. So we didn't make the playoffs my junior, and then my senior year, I pretty much was by myself. I was the only senior. And now my point guard was senior, a little white guy, but he had a lot of heart. He just got me the ball, and, he scored a little 12 points, but he probably had 12 assists, played hard D, and I carried us back to the playoffs, and that was when I really got notarized.
So you basically what you're saying is the politics of basketball isn't anything new with the parents giving money and you not making the team or not getting the adequate playing time, not based off your skill, but based off of who paid what. So this isn't anything new.
Yeah, it's politics and everything, but those parents are just you got parents like that alumni and their kids go to the school and they give money and. Just because of their last name can happen like that. But, my senior year was hands down, like, it didn't matter if you was giving $1 million. If they weren't going through me, they was going to go over this. So,
wow. So I'm assuming that after this great senior year, you went off to play for Texas or, one of those big-time colleges, right?
No, there's a crazy story on that, too. The story about this is I didn't know nothing about the ACT and the SAT. The coaches didn't express that to me. Nobody in my family ever helped me get through school or nothing like that. So I was going through school blindly. I didn't know anything. Like I said, my grandparents raised me, so I didn't really have parents. I didn't have any male person to look up to, or I pretty much just, my mind was that I was unwanted as a kid, as a baby, and so that just pushed me to do what I wanted to do. And until this day, I'm still the same way.
Okay, so you basically everything, a lot of people would take it as this is an opportunity for me to quit. You took it as motivation as, this is the fuel to my fire.
Yeah, because I knew, like I said, I love basketball, and I knew I had a gift. I knew I was good. Like, I just knew it, A lot of people didn't see it because they weren't looking at, I was born with fundamentals, you can say, like I probably wasn't super athletic, but if I seen like my dad, like I would play with older guys coming up, I'd always go to the parks, and I would always play with the men, from 7th grade all the way up until, to the time I was playing with grown men, especially in the hood, especially when eventually some of those guys might see you playing and be like, hey, this little kid's all right. But they can see that I was good with playing with adults. Like it wasn't hard for me. I had the fundamentals naturally because I just see these old men playing and I'll play with them. And eventually I'll just take everything that I see that everybody else is doing and I'll just put it into my game. Then when I got to high school, I did have my old man white coach. One thing I can say is he put fundamentals in us. Like we didn't like his style of coaching, but he was about 70 years old coaching us. His style was overdue. It was time for him to go. But he had stayed at that school, and he stressed fundamentals. He would make the post do guard work. He would make the guards do post moves and all that kind of stuff. So I had all that in me. That means I could pretty much play any position on the court. You know what I'm saying? Being that I was only 6'2" in high school, I probably was the second all-time leading shot blocker. I had good time on blocking shots.
At 6'2"?
Big rebounder, yeah. I didn't get to be 6'3", 6'5.5". I'll just say 6'6". I didn't get to be that height until my freshman year in college. I hit a growth spurt, which I could have used that 3 inches. My high school's year, that would have been big. And like I said, I didn't know about the ACT, the SAT, and all that kind of stuff. I had good grades, like I was a B+ student my senior year, but I didn't know about those other things. Back in the day, they probably could sneak you in without taking those.
Yeah.
But when I came out in '98, they wasn't sneaking you in no more. That wasn't happening. That was about 2 years before me, where they were still doing that. My junior year, that stopped. It didn't matter if you were a supreme athlete, like they went on that ACT or SAT.
Yeah. So you end up going to a junior college. And from the junior college, how was it at the junior college?
Junior college, actually, we played some bigger colleges. My junior college, man, we were stacked. I mean, you get a lot of people that were in the same situation as me, or some guys that, that they ain't smart and they still want to play basketball. You go to junior college. If you go to school and you try to be a good student, you can pass. As long as you got 12 hours of passing, you can play. It ain't like high school if you flunk a class. If you're passing 12 hours, then you can play per semester. And I stepped right in. My freshman year, I'd say I averaged about 20, 23, but conference. A lot of guys fell off our team, and my averages went up drastically to about 32. But all around player though, I just wasn't scoring. I still give you 10 boards, probably 4 assists, 3 steals, blocks. Defensive player of the year, and we played against the national champion. They were in our division, Richland College, and they had NBA prospect. And I had my 4 games I played against them. My 2 years in junior college, I had about 35 against them. That probably was the highlight of my college career. That tells me what I could have done on the next level, because I played against D1 players and players that went to Duke and North Carolina, and I've been able to put stats up against them, so it really didn't matter.
So I guess my high school career wasn't quite as decorated as yours. I may have averaged 8 or 9 rebounds, -5 points a game, and I ended up at Southwestern College, and somehow I ran into you at Southwestern College. So there must be some type of story if you take a guy who's really averaging 30 a game. That's not your typical NAIA player. So what is it that drew you to small Winfield, Kansas, Southwestern College?
Well, it was 2 situations, to tell you the truth. For one, I had a girlfriend, which I had got my girlfriend pregnant. So, I went to a few schools. I could have went to some bigger schools, probably some better schools. But I chose Southwestern because they tricked me, got me down there, telling me, it was going to be my house, my stadium, and all this. And it was just a different environment. Nothing that I ain't used to, like I said, I'm not prejudiced or anything like that. But if you go to a white area, they have a certain way they want to play. I think my aggressiveness of coming there and playing like a dog, I'm going against those guys. Even when I came there, those guys are like, those JUCO dudes are like, not JUCO, I'm sorry. Those college dudes that were on that level, they're like, these JUCO dudes coming in. Yeah. They were laughing like, you're coming from JUCO. What you think you're going to do here? And they found out within a week what I was going to do. So it just was a bad situation. Never got to play a game there. But I would have loved to see what would have happened with that, because actually I know that my JUCO, the JUCO level that I played on was way more competitive than the college level NAIA. So it would have been some big things there, but it didn't work out.
So once again, you're given an opportunity to give up on basketball in life, period.
Yeah, so I just went ahead and stayed down there, man, because I was going to classes. I felt like the schooling was easy. I felt like it was an easy degree to get. So I got 2 degrees out of school. I just stayed those 2 years, just buried it out. I thought my basketball career was over. I buried it out. Then I ended up going back to America. I'm sorry. We were in Kansas. I said America. Yeah. So I ended up going back to Texas. And so I started working. And then, I did some DL tryouts. I made the final cut a few times from the Fort Worth Tycoons. That was when you had to pay to play the tryout. And it'd be like 200 or 300 people in there for 2 or 3 days from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And they put you through football tryouts. Basically, they was making people quit left and right, people throwing up. And I made it to the final day. I did this twice and made it to the top 10. They told me I was going to get some callbacks, but I had no experience from going to college. Big colleges, you don't have that label sometimes. They're not going to even give you a chance. I didn't have any agents because I never played overseas or nothing. So some guys that had that beat me out, even though they wasn't better players than me. But, got overlooked again. So at every level, I've been overlooked.
So how'd you get overseas?
Well, I actually moved to Atlanta, Riverdale, Georgia, and lived with you for a month. And, And then I found this, I was looking for jobs, and I found this job. Somebody just wrote me back automatically after I sent my resume, said, you got the job. And I ended up going to Korea to teach for a year. And after I did that, in Korea, I ended up going back to America. I had some things. I went to play in Mexico a little bit. I'll go play in money games in Mexico, tournaments and stuff like that against pros. And after a year or 2, I went back to Korea, and then I met a guy in Korea that asked me if I wanted to go to China and teach kids basketball. So I did that, and I figured when I got to China, this was going to be my opportunity to try to get the CBA or some league over there. So I ended up just playing and tearing people up again. Got to the point where I'm playing. I didn't play in the CBA, but they have like this. They call it kind of wild ball, but you play against both of the pro leagues here. Play against the players, and then you can go to every country.
Mm-hmm.
They got cities here where they have tournaments, basketball tournaments, just year round, every month, everywhere all over China. It's not like America. They'll pay you to play basketball. Like they might pay you $500 to $1,000 to play a game.
Wow.
Or you might get, $250, whatever. It's still better than nothing. And if you're good enough, you can last here doing that. If not, you'll be gone. And with my luck again, I hurt my quad muscle. My quad muscle was completely gone. I didn't even know it. I thought I was just having knee problems because I was playing so many games.
Yeah.
And at that point, I wasn't lifting weights. I've never been a person to want to lift weights. I just thought that I could just go out there and play against anybody and kill it. But as you get into your 30s, you definitely have to lift weights and keep your body strong. And so I started to lift weights and stuff, and I got on a leg press one day, and I looked down, and I realized I didn't have any muscle in this one leg, my quad. It was nothing but bone.
Wow.
And I've been playing on one leg for 2 years. Everybody was like, why can't you dunk and do all this stuff anymore? I wasn't dunking and all that stuff, but the Chinese and stuff, they want to see all that. But I still was averaging 20 and 10 just off of just playing a role.
Yeah.
So they'll give me the ball one-on-one situations. Because I had good fundamentals, I could score. I could get hooks and up and unders, drop steps. I could get rebounds and stuff, and then just position. Just because I had IQ, I could still score 20. And it wasn't a flashy 20. But when you look at the score sheet, you're like, man, he got 25. But, they wasn't seeing them dunks and stuff. So, once you don't make the crowd go ooh and ah, it's like you ain't doing nothing. But when they look at those stats, they see that I still putting up the numbers.
Yeah.
And just here in the last year, I worked hard in the gym, got it back. I'm dunking, flying again, about to be 38, strong, still can do everything. I thought I would never touch the rim again, so I just got in that weight room and worked on my legs. Matter of fact, I'm about to hit the gym in a second. But
so what time is it there?
6:30 p.m. now, so it's about a 13-hour difference from here to
So
here.
is
To
it
there.
Monday
On the
or is
other
it
side of the world,
Sunday?
so you just flip the time.
Is it Monday or Sunday?
It's a Monday.
Okay, because it's
Y'all
Sunday
half a day
here.
behind.
Okay, so you're already in the middle of the day on Monday.
Yeah, you a half a day behind me, man. I stay above. I try to stay above y'all guys, man. Y'all foreigners down there, man. Y'all a little slow.
So just give us some advice for all the guys who are watching this video right now who either they kind of feel like because the dad's not around or they don't have the training or the coach is messing them over or things just didn't work out the way. Just give those guys some advice on what they should be looking at and how kind of like you're a self-made player. Yeah, you're not in the NBA. Besides a couple people, they may never hear your name, but you're living out your dream right now. You're overseas. You're giving back to the community. So just give a little bit of advice.
Man, I've learned in life that it's pretty much it's the person. I mean, you're gonna go where you want to go. If you really want to go somewhere, you want to do something, you're gonna do it. It's about the heart. You look at Allen Iverson, 5'11". He averaged about 27, 28 for his career. People don't realize how tiny. Give him 6 foot, okay. Just you realize 6 foot in the NBA amongst these dogs, these dudes 7'5", 7'7". Everybody taller than him. He got the heart. You know what I'm saying? He just didn't give up. I mean, it's really the characteristics of the person and what you want to do. Don't matter what you go through. What people can talk about you, say this, say that. You always don't get that. But when you get your opportunity, you got to be ready. And you just got to have the heart of the champions to keep going and to be what you want to be and do what you want to do.
So through all of this, how has been your relationship with Christ and all of this traveling and ups and downs?
Oh, I was born to be in church, that's for sure. I believe in God. I believe in Christ for sure. Since I've been in different places in the world, my view on things are a little different. I look at different religions.
Mm-hmm.
There ain't too many people that believe in Christ in China. They believe in Buddha.
Mm-hmm.
You got some Christians here. You got Muslims. You got Jehovah's Witnesses. And what I do is, I'm not as judgmental as most Christians and most people are.
Yeah.
I will listen to what people have to say, and I notice the good things about these different religions. Like, for instance, let's just talk about Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yeah.
These people will come to your house, knock on your door, give you some pamphlets, try to get you to believe in what they are telling you, and they get out there and work. You got the Baptists, they're pretty much like Christians. Go to church, they're a little lenient on the things that they allow compared to Christians. You got the Muslims. We're not talking about Middle East Muslims. I'm talking about African Muslims, people that these guys, they pray, they'll fast for a whole week, won't eat, drink water.
Wow.
I mean, they dedicate themselves to God. Like it's certain things that they do that you be like, man, I couldn't do that. You think about not eating for 15 hours and you just only eat once a day, like they do that for Christ. So I look at all these religions and see what people do, and I think there's no one right religion. I just believe that if you live right, treat people right, and God gave us common sense.
Yeah.
You use your common sense. You know right from wrong. Like when water's hot, you know when water's cold.
Yeah.
You know when to walk across the street. All these kind of things, and I just believe it's the person, man.
Now you told us, before we get off here, that you was gonna give us this 16th floor view, and I'm sure everybody wants to see that.
All right, I'll show you. I'm up here on the 16th floor. I live in a 32 studio,
so this is like Crib's China edition, right?
All right, let me see if we can give you a view.
Oh wow! So it's a big city.
Oh yeah, it's a big city. It's a little slow for me though. You know what I'm saying? I like Beijing and Shanghai. I prefer But for me, it's a little slow here, but it is what it is. You get used to it, so just adapt.
Now, what does the apartment look like? Is it just, does it, how
It's
is
just
it?
it's just a small apartment. It's just I got a bedroom and a kitchen and bathroom.
I'm sure the,
I wasn't really expecting to.
yeah, I know.
It ain't. It's a man house, so bed ain't made, and
I'm sure the guys are wondering, do you have like a PlayStation over there? You got 2K, Madden, games like that?
man, I actually don't, man. I download every movie that come out, all the TV shows, Walking Dead, Power. If you can think of the the stuff I downloaded and watch it like that. I don't really watch their TV. I like the PlayStation, but it's just boring when I don't got nobody to play it with.
Yeah,
But you know, I like to create my own teams on Madden and
yeah,
have a draft and do all. You know how we used to do it.
yeah.
And I like that.
Now, what about being an English speaker? That you have to learn different languages while you get over there?
I know a little of their language. You know, if I need some real help, I'll ask somebody to help me. But like I said, we all got common sense, man. Just download a translator. You got a translator. I can just type English and then transfer it to English. I mean, type top Chinese and it'll translate to English. And now they got a speaking translator. You can speak into it and then it translates it to Chinese. So, I mean, if you ain't smart enough to do that, then
You don't need to be over there, huh? Now, with all the mess going on here with Trump and stuff like that, do you feel that over there?
nah, they don't. They talk about it, they be like Trump's dumb or whatever. But nah, I don't care not to know what's going on in America unless it's something serious like the hurricanes and stuff. Man, this stuff been going on forever, man. The world is still the same. It ain't gonna never change. It is what it is. Of
So,
course, we got a terrible president right now. Even if you got a great president in there, you're still gonna have problems. And I just do it day by day. Whatever happens, happens. Whatever happens is meant to happen. It ain't for me to worry about. That's what the Bible says, actually. You know.
so
If you believe in God, then why are you worried about everything else?
yeah, it's true. So when you're over there, you're kind of detached from America and American society.
Well, I see. You know, I get online and stuff every now and then to see what's going on, but overall, I don't let it get to me. You know what I'm saying? If somebody died in my family or something like that, then I'm worried about that. But
Yeah.
other than that, it ain't gonna get. In my personal opinion, the world is what it is. Like it ain't changed in these hundreds of years. Why do people think stuff is gonna just drastically change now?
That's true. So the last question before we get out of here, international basketball player, college degree, multiple college degrees. Are you married?
Nah, I ain't never been married. I got a daughter, she's 15. I wish I could be there to be with her and grow her up, but no, I haven't been lucky enough to find that woman. You know, when I came down there and stayed with you for a month, I actually saw some things that made me want to think about marriage. But yeah, I just haven't been lucky. I'm definitely not gonna marry nothing over here. So I mean, even though you got a lot of foreigners from everywhere, you got a lot of blacks, you got Brazilians, you got people from all over. You know, but you know, I'm strictly chocolate.
So if there's a lady watching right now saying, "Now that's the guy that I want to be found by," is that a possibility? I'm not playing
Oh
love
yeah,
connection, but
you can give my Facebook, man, and you know my style and my taste. So uh, if they're single and I don't mind having chat buddies, you know what I'm saying? I'm over here by myself, so it's good to have somebody to talk to.
All right. Well, I really appreciate your time. It's always an honor to speak with people who I feel like it's kind of got more than me. They're farther in their career, and I really hope that somebody's blessed by this webinar. That you said something to motivate them, and if you got a comment, leave it below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Just make sure if you got any questions for KG, leave a comment. I'll make sure it gets to them. Hope you continue your career. I've always, like I said, next time I see you, I'm going to dunk on you.
All I wanna do is worship because you've been so good to me. All I wanna Because you've given me